musically.
Hello and welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all Gucci? What's up? Y'all enjoying the sunshine? This unfake feeling weather we having? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I see y'all in the comments already. I appreciate y'all so much. You know, whether you watching me live, whether you catching me on the rerun, the replay. They still say rerun, the replay. I appreciate you and I love you. And thank you for watching. So anyway, I hope that your week is off to a fantastic start. I see y'all comments. Here we go. The science is understanding that you hear me. I see you, Mr. Artest, and I saw that you was here at 6:59. I see you. I see you and I appreciate you. How's your week going, Daniel? How's it going? What's the science? All right. Hi, Summer. How are you, beautiful? Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you. All right, y'all. Y'all know I got to do my spiel before, getting into today's episode. But can we say one thing? Go Pacers. What? Pacers is, listen, you might feel like you're going to have a heart attack. Okay, I'm not claiming that. You might feel like you get overexcited during the game. We're not claiming no heart attacks. Right on, Pacers. Congratulations. Keep up the work, right? I don't know. Daniel, what they saying? Are they saying that we can take it? They saying we can take it, Daniel? What they saying? You the basketball guru. So what they saying? So anyway, y'all, thank y'all again for joining me. You know, I appreciate you. This is the 69th episode, family. 69th, right? So let's see here. Y'all know I got to do my spiel. You should be like, right now, this is what I want y'all to do right now. If you have not subscribed to Relationship Soup on YouTube, go do it. Relationship Soup, period. You know you got to put the period in there, right? Put the period, hit subscribe, let YouTube know that my content is cool. Let them know, right? So if you want to join the forum, I just approved a lot of members the other day. Relationship Soup group, come and join the forum. Let's talk. We can have these talks in the group too, right? It don't just have to be on Tuesday. We can have them throughout the week, 24/7, right? Again, if you want to follow me as Relationship Soup LLC, now listen, y'all, listen. You need a greeting card. Go to relationshipsoup.com. Look, y'all celebrating. Look, we got stuff coming up. It's Father's Day coming up. It's still, some of y'all kids is still graduating. It's a whole bunch of weddings. I see y'all in my timeline and congratulations, right? congratulations to y'all. Come on, hit up the website. All right. Boom. All right. So with that being said, again, thank y'all so much for joining me. I appreciate y'all. I see you, Daniel. I see you. Haters is six for me. That's what's up. See, Daniel, I had to ask you because I already know you were like you the man to come to about basketball. You feel me? I be getting the basics. You feel me? Hey, I know it ain't Final Four. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm telling you. M. Woodson, what's the science? What's going on with you? How are you? Thank you for joining me tonight, beautiful. You know I appreciate you. All right, boom. So y'all, I said I was gonna keep it in front of you, right? Let me go ahead. I want to get this going, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get into the show tonight. Cause baby, this show we hitting the soul tonight. All right, so boom, Michelle. You remember I shared this before about buy a coffee for Michelle. Hey, we don't have to wait till October to get them breast checked. You feel me? Breast cancer is a real thing. I actually lost one of my favorite aunties to breast cancer. So anyway, listen, get your breast checked. Buy a coffee from Michelle. I will put the link in the thread, and feel free to donate. Right? Because this sister, she's still making a recovery. She's still, thriving and healing. So we are sending her much love, prayer, and light. All right. Boom. All right. So anyway, so we're gonna get into tonight's episode. And again, I see y'all in the studio. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I don't take it for granted because y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but you here with me, and I appreciate that. Right. All right, boom. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's episode. This is the 69th episode, y'all. And like really for my shows, I like to just go with the flow anyway. But this show is definitely about flow. We're gonna flow tonight, and I want y'all to share with me. This one is entitled Soul Talk. So, do I have a direction that I'm trying to go? I just thought I would just share some things with you, and you share some things with me, right? So that's where we are going to go tonight. Absolutely, inwards and sending prayers. Actually, absolutely prayer, love, and light always, right? So, like I said, with this episode, it's just soul talk, y'all. We just gonna talk about some things that's just been on our hearts, right? I'm gonna present some questions to you. I know I'm gonna do that because I love when y'all engage and share y'all viewpoints with me because I learn from y'all as well. We learn from each other, right? So tonight, what came to me is just go, just talk, just be. And I can't be the only one that feels this way. Have you ever felt like, man, what am I doing? Right? Have you ever felt like, man, I need to lay this down. Or you have question about stuff, right? So tonight I want to explore that. And then something that came to me, because I do a lot of reflection. I've done a lot of life work and things like that. So while reflection can be a good thing, one thing to look at, reflection can either wreck you or raise you. Right? That's just what it is. And that's just the truth. So anyway, look, whatever y'all want to share tonight, just put it in a thread. I also put already, um, I've also shared the link if you want to come and join me in the studio. I always got room for y'all in the studio, and I always appreciate when y'all come and spend some time with me. All right, so I don't see no more comments. As y'all comments come on, we'll go ahead and talk about it. All right, boom. So anyway, let's just have some soul talk. I ain't like I said, I ain't even got no script. Not that I normally have a script, but like I said, I like to go with the flow. Something I posted this week because I ain't gonna lie, this weekend was grateful. I always try to bring gratitude to the forefront, right? I try to bring gratitude to the forefront because I am very grateful for so much. I mean, God has blessed me. I ain't gonna lie to kick it like I don't have the moments though. I try to be together on the outside, try to, keep myself together, smell good and all that. But behind closed doors, sometimes I do question things. And there are still things that I'm questioning in life. Do y'all feel like that? Am I the only one? Do y'all question stuff? Y'all be like, what the heck? Right. So one thing I posted, I don't know if y'all caught that in my note or not. Um, the quote that came to me during my quiet this week and during my moments, because y'all ain't gonna lie to kick, I had a moment this weekend. So something that came to me in my quiet was there's no peace in a counterfeit position. And I shared this with my counsel, right? Because I was like, man, it ain't no peace in a counterfeit position. Right? And we started talking about it and stuff, right? So some of y'all might think, what does that mean? Well, let me ask you this. Are you forcing roles? What does that mean, Lisa? Well, are you forcing roles? Whether it's relationships, that includes family, friends, lovers or lover, your career, or hell, even the versions of yourself, right? Are you forcing something? And by forcing, meaning are you in alignment with truth, purpose, and peace? Right? Some of y'all might think, oh, I'm at peace right now. I'm at peace. Are you really? And I'm not trying to tell you that you're not. I'm speaking to self. So trust me. So as I'm saying this, I've also talked to self about this. So I ain't even being away. So are you really at peace? And I brought this up on other podcasts as well. Like, or are you avoiding? Right? Let me elaborate. How y'all feeling about that? Let me make sure I ain't missing no comments. Oh, I see y'all. Let me bring your comments on before I get into this. Derek Norris, what's the science? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. And Derek, if you want to get into the studio and come on, I got room for you. All right, boom. So, like I was saying, so are you playing a role that's not yours? The truth of the matter is, a lot of us are some of us. I won't say a lot because I ain't done no research. Like I don't have no stats or nothing. Some of us may be feeling stuck. Have you ever felt stuck? Whether it's romantically, professional, or even with your family. Maybe you chose the situation or maybe you didn't choose it. Maybe you've outgrown it, right? So a counterfeit position, let me define that. Let me get into my professor stance. So a counterfeit position often looks right, right? And on the outside it look Gucci as hell. You look real good on the outside. You looking good, smelling good. Or maybe you in a situation, hey, the family look good, everything look good, but it ain't. Your marriage look good, but it ain't. Your relationship look good, but it's not, right? So even though it looks good on the outside, you actually being fake. You living a lie. You telling whole lies, right? You thriving every day in a whole lie. Can anybody be honest with that? Can you? Can you be honest? Because look, listen, this I was doing the color purple cry. I can't even lie. I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm gonna be transparent, right? I'm gonna be real transparent. This week I was like, what the heck? Right? Have y'all ever felt like that? And sometimes, because one thing that I have grown to understand is feelings don't always equal truth. Just because you feel a way, that don't necessarily mean it's the truth. I'm telling you, I was in my feelings this weekend. I'm not saying it's true. And sometimes when you get these nudges about different things, sometimes it ain't God. Sometimes it's your human reasoning. What I struggle with sometimes is when is it human reasoning and when is it God? Right? Yeah. Y'all can help me with that one. I see you, Derek. I'm stuck right now in terms of people, stuck leaving them in the past. Listen, Derek, you're not the only one. And sometimes it just feels like God gotta remove people, right? Because whether it's through expectations, whether it's through commitments, whatever, why are we stuck with people? Why are you stuck in your position? God then nudged you, then told you to move, right? But you decide not to move. Why is that? Why are you being fake? That's a very real conversation to have with yourself. And it don't feel good, right? It don't feel good at all. It don't feel good. Because those that are closest to me, and I've been kind of transparent. There was a situation where it was like, yo, it looked good on the outside. I'm going on trips, bills paid. You feel me? We looking good, but it wasn't no peace. It was a whole counterfeit position. It wasn't no peace. Look good, but every day that I woke up, and especially when God started nudging me, I knew I was living a whole lie. Right? Right? Every word I spoke, everything I did was a whole lie. Right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Area E. What's up, E? You remember that time we was famous, E? Remember that time? You remember that time we was on the bus? But yeah, absolutely. That's just the truth. So Artest says, woo, that counterfeit position line hit me in the chest. Sometimes we stay in what looks right just because it's comfortable and familiar. Absolutely we do. You know, it, for me, and I ain't not all I can do is talk about my story, right? For me, it was hell of a big spiritual contract. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So me, I'm like, yo, I done made this commitment. I didn't said I'm gonna do this, right? But living a whole lie. Right? I'm getting anxiety. My health is doing what it's doing. All for the sake of what? Right? Some of y'all out here, y'all doing it either for because hey, You don't want to be back outside. I feel you. I ain't want to be back outside. I love being in a relationship. You feel me? But it's either you face the truth, which sometimes peace comes in truth, no matter how comfortable it is. You think because you avoiding making a move that you at peace. No, baby, that's chaos. Sometimes you got to make those uncomfortable moves to experience peace, and it don't feel good. Trust me. Sometimes you got to rip that whole rug from under yourself. I'm just saying. A lot of people be selling some serious representatives not being authentic. Absolutely. Absolutely. It be hella representative. But again, you look good to everybody. In your neighborhood, you look real good. To your friends, acquaintances, let me not say your friends. Because my friends be knowing. A lot of my friends are clairvoyant. Y'all know who y'all are, right? They be knowing. But to your acquaintance, to the outside, to strangers, you look real good. But you're not. You wake up every day. Every day you wake up in your bed. You not even where you ain't supposed to even be laying in that bed in that moment like that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And I'm gonna get into some other stuff. Leah Bennett, what's the science? What's up, fam? Thanks for joining me on tonight. Some people be scared to face good thing because they are intimidated by the reality of what they can have. Absolutely. That's the truth. Because you know what? What is it? Failure to fearing failure. Sometimes it ain't even fearing failure. It's fearing success and where you can be. That's scary for some people. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not speaking nothing, and I'm not saying nothing that I have not experienced myself. That part, peace ain't always soft. No, it ain't always soft. It's hard as hell. It be feeling like a suplex. You hear me? Y'all ever watch WWE wrestling? That's what it feel like. A whole suplex. A suplex by like Hulk Hogan back in the day. You know, sometimes it shows up dressed up as a hard decision you've been avoiding. Absolutely, in silence. That's not always peace. It's just chaos in disguise. You preaching absolutely. And let me tell y'all something. And my counsel, they know this. I listen to a lot of different speakers, and I've actually had this conversation. Like I listen to a lot because I've been on this whole life work thing, this whole life work. Because to me, life work is constant, right? And so, I'm listening to these different speakers. I'm listening to these different influencers, the messages that come up in my timeline at 2 a.m. in the morning. You feel me? Because I'll be up. Okay? Some that green light, I really do be up. But I've gotten to a point where it's just like it's so overwhelming because it's just like, oh my gosh, like how do I apply all of this? Right? And this whole my whole timeline, and I'm sure just because I'm talking about this and we know these listen. Surrender, 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 surrender. Y'all know I've heard that. Y'all, I've talked about that in the podcast. Somebody said podcast anyway. That's the answer. But anyway, but when is surrendering really avoidance? When is surrendering going inward, surrendering, getting quiet? When is it actually avoidance? Because look, I don't claim to be no biblical scholar because I know y'all know who y'all are in my timeline and in this chat tonight. Sometimes God be nudging. So when is surrendering actually avoidance? When is it? When you know you should be making a position. Now, I'm not saying because there is a time to get quiet, there's a time to pray, and I am really trying to discern that. But, what I had told someone, I don't ever want to be in another position where I'm praying prayers that the Creator never intended for me to pray. Because how many times have you prayed something? You be like, oh, it's the devil. No, the devil don't do everything. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes you were there because you were there and God nudged you and told you to move. In the Bible, people move. And y'all can correct me because, again, I ain't got no ego about it. I am not no scholar. I've read the whole book, but I am not no scholar. But what I do know, because I'm not trying to cancel out what I just said, God has told people to move. And whatever your belief system, this is just the space that I'm in right now. I know Esther had to speak up, right? David had to face Goliath. They were nudged to move. And how often have we been nudged to move, but we didn't? And then here we are stuck in situations that we know that we had no business being in. How many of us are stuck right now? How many of y'all stuck right now? And that's fine. Acknowledging it is the first step, but what you gonna do to get out of it? Okay, let's see here. but thunder are going to be tough. Okay, let's see here. We are masters at avoidance. Absolutely. And you know what I found myself, because I also shared this with someone as well. When I was in a situation that I knew I shouldn't have been in, because God told me early on, like, girl, you know, you lying. You know, this ain't even what I want for you, right? That's just what came to me. And there was just other things that was nudging me to make a different decision, right? Um, I'm gonna get to your comments. Hold on. But what was happening was, and you know, messages, I feel like everything is not an algorithm. Everything is not an algorithm. Sometimes I feel whether it's divine timing, whatever comes to you. So I'm getting all these messages with, you know, that was encouraging me to do opposite of what I needed to do. And you know what? I clung onto that. So here it is, and day by day, energy, spirit, health, prolonging destiny, because I believe that we can do that. Although I believe that what's ours by divine right and everything works out for the higher good, I believe that. Sometimes we prolong it. Sometimes it really ain't God. Like I don't feel like God's aggressive. And I'm not acting like I'm no preacher or nothing. I'm just really preaching. I'm really not preaching because I ain't no preacher. I'm just really saying what's on my heart and what's coming to me, because in real time I'm learning this. I'm evolving. You feel me? So I'm just saying. Okay, so let's see here. Some people be trying to sell you the White House and picket fence, though they have no intention of being in a real. Absolutely, there are so many people that lie to kick it, and my counsel can tell you, because hey, we done named y'all and everything. Listen, we got names for them and everything. You know, Lion King. They gonna laugh at that because they gonna know who that is, right? Yeah, it's just like they have no intention, right? Intentions is all wrong. Just lying to kick it. Why sell wolf tickets? Why are you doing that? What is it in you that is making you lead a person on or selling you stuff that you shouldn't even be selling? Why are you doing that? What is that about? We too old to be lying. If you lying to yourself at this point, if we lying at this point, who we scared of? Remember as a kid, you'll be scared you gonna get a whooping or something? Or you know what they do now? What y'all parents doing now? Time out, taking the phone away. Like there was a consequence, right? Who we scared of now? Why are we lying? What we scared of? I'm just saying. Because how long do you stay in a situationship before you get out? What if the other person treats you well, but has made it clear they don't want a real relationship, asking for a friend? That's deep, fam. What do you do? Well, once you come to the realization, you got to figure out what you're going to do. Because I think age group probably matters on why some people don't move. I'm speaking on myself. I didn't move. Hey, I didn't want to be back outside. I love being in a relationship, right? But if things are not moving accordingly, then you have to make the decision. How long do you stay? That's going to depend. Life is passing you by every single day. Every single day that you don't move, life is passing you by. Your destiny is passing you by. And if you're willing to, part with that, then stay forever. But you have to determine that. How precious is your time? How precious is your quality of life? Mine is very precious. You feel me? So what my experience has taught me, I'm not waiting forever. I'm not gonna do it. If a person ain't, if we're not moving in alignment, because I seek alignment, I ain't doing it. Now I can't say, well, as of exact date and time. Just know that it's going to be very short lived, and then you have to assess again how that complements your quality of life and you being true to yourself. Because if it's causing you to lose yourself, you got to move differently. And you can determine that. Only you can determine that. So I don't know if it's like 6 months, a year, whatever. You have to determine that for yourself. That nudge been loud lately, and I can't lie. I've been Jonah about it. Okay, Jonah, I see you. I see. Yeah, I know Jonah in the Bible. Look, I know that story. Running from what I already know I'm supposed to do. Thank you for the reminder that stillness ain't always obedience. No, stillness ain't always obedience, and that's a point that I do kind of want to hit as well, right? Yeah, stillness is not always obedience, right? Yeah, it's not. So you have to decide again when you're going to speak, when you're going to move, because there is a time and place. There's a season for everything. There's a time to be quiet. There's a time to move. And what I pray again that I'm obedient enough to move how I'm supposed to move. I see. Oh my goodness. I see you, Tim. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. I have seen women trying to use the biological clock to lock their man in a relationship. Listen, absolutely. I've seen it. I have, listen. Some of my male friends, right? And they know who they are. Okay, they have told me this. They got trapped, tricked because they thought she was on birth control or whatever. But sometimes a woman will use that to lock a man, whether it's being deceitful that way or manipulating through biological clock. Which I mean, to each they own, and some of them come out on top. Some of them choose the right one to do it. Right? They didn't chose the right one. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't gonna go nowhere. Right? Me personally, I don't want nobody with me because we got a child together. What's that? What's that gonna do? But that's coming from somebody that don't even have a child. But why would you do that, sis? Girl, why are you doing that? Because nothing that to me, when something's not in alignment, it's gonna crash. It's gonna blow up. Eventually, it might be good at first, but stuff that's not in alignment eventually crashes. You building a foundation on sand. And I ain't no contractor, but that don't seem right. See, I just, again, I don't knock nobody's story because I don't know what people's journeys are. It's just to me, I look at some situations and I think of the root. Why are you doing that? Why? Why? Right? Again, not no judgment. And if it sounds like I'm judging, I really ain't. I just be trying to understand why. Right? I'm cool. I'm cool. So let's see here. Some people have deadlines on relationships. If they're not talking marriage in 6 months to a year, they need to bounce. That's fair. You know, and it may depend on where you are. It may depend on where you are, in life or whatever. Like, I know of someone in a situation, they've been with someone for, what was it, 15 years? And again, you have to go by your journey. And I get it. Like when you become conscious, and I'm very conscious, my third eye is all the way open. I'm very conscious. I see through a lot of things and I question a lot of things. There is system, well, the system and this and that. But 15 years, good night. I don't even know if I'm going to be here in 15 years. I can't see it. But to each their own, because you might live to be 100. So that might work for you. 15 years? Good night. Hey, Sugarfoot, what's going on, Pasha? How are you? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you. I remember an ex who wasn't suitable. She steered me to jewelry shop regular. Listen, I don't handcuff, I don't arrest. Listen, we can talk about it or whatever, but I ain't gonna force nobody. I ain't never had, well, okay, I ain't put my business out there, but when I got married, it wasn't me pushing it. For what? Either you see this or you don't. Either you have the trained eyes to see me or you don't. I am not gonna be dropping hints like that. For what? Nah, baby, I attract, I don't chase. I ain't doing that. They still doing that. Hi, Tim. How are you? How you been? Look, I know I missed church on Sunday, but I watched it though. I watched it. Okay, so let's see here. And another ex who was using her children to manipulate interstate. Listen, that's a very real thing, and I've seen it. I've seen it. A lot of my friends tend to be males, right? And I've seen them. Oh, I won't go nowhere because of her. Those are her kids. Forgive me, y'all. I'm not trying to be insensitive because again, I believe in journey, destinations. There's lessons, growth, teaching, and all of that. I get it, but I'm just saying you being manipulated by somebody else's kids. Like, how does that work? I don't know. Like, and again, I'm not judging no one. And sis, why are you using your children to manipulate somebody? Where they daddy at? You ain't manipulate him. I'm just saying. Like, I don't know. I No judgment. No judgment. And y'all go in on me because I don't mind. I don't mind standing corrected. My dad been together with this lady for about 25. Are they not married? And I'm not saying that might not be the destination for anyone. I'm just saying been together as far as are they married or whatever. Like again, it's not for everyone. I'm not pushing my ideals on anyone. I'm just saying like 25 years, bro. You so when he died, you can't even be power of attorney on the obituary. You gonna be that special friend, bro? Nah. I ain't being nobody's special friend. I ain't doing that. For what? 25 years? Special friend? No. I can't make a decision. When you go to the hospital, when you fall sick, oh, that's daddy's special friend. No. No, we ain't doing that. You can handcuff me. Pasha. Good night, Pasha. I don't handcuff. I ain't no cop. I ain't no cop at all. I'm a professor. I don't handcuff. Now I might throw some terminology at you or something in business, but I'm just saying. So Derek says, in our society, we've been conditioned to operate in fear and ego. The behaviors and betrayals come from it. That become from absolutely. Yeah, I know that's what some of the books that I've read, the importance of getting away from ego. That's a very real thing. Fear and ego, and I can say that I've operated from both. Predominantly fear. Yeah, absolutely, which is part of ego. And they not married but live in separate homes. You know what? To each their own. That works. Like some married couples sleep in separate bed, or some couples sleep in separate beds. Live in separate houses. I actually seen a meme about that was talking about how statistically married couples that sleep in separate rooms like it's better for sleep and it's better for the relationship. I don't know. I like to be hugged up if I can. Like, why you all the way over there? I'm her. Why you all the way over there? Third eye don't let nothing slide, right? Absolutely it don't. Third eye don't listen, it's always active. Now I ain't gonna act like I ain't never been like ignoring it. Like, what's that? Looking around like, nah. I'm chucking deuces left and right. Absolutely you got to. She's in control at hospital, they are together. And some people have that understanding. And again, I don't want to knock, I'm not knocking anybody's way of being. I guess I just look for understanding with it, right? Because I have my ideals and maybe some of my ideals, maybe as I'm evolving, they change. I don't know. But my core self, I mean, there's just my core. And I can't, necessarily go against my light and shadow. Sometimes it's just my core. That part about using kids to manipulate, yeah, that one hit. I've seen it and I felt the sting of what happens when love turns into leverage. Absolutely. I, I don't even have any advice on that. You know what I mean? Like just using kids as leverage and to manipulate because there are people that do it for the kids. You feel me? Like, how does that work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, that's a counterfeit position, especially if you're not happy. What are you doing? But don't go by me. What do I know? Special friend. Now, fam, I ain't gonna be that special. Good night for what? Special friend. You not even you can't even make the obituary. Nah, you can't even get no eulogy because you are a special friend. Right, Tasha, you silly. When they met, Dad was like in late 50s or early 60s. And some people do things for companionship. Again, it's a case by case. I am never going to say all for anybody. Each it's a case by case. I'm just reflecting on, some of my life lived and some of the experience that have been talked about in the soup and things that some of my friends have shared with me. So again, I'm not it's always a case. Let me be careful with the word always. It's a case by case. So I'm just talking, y'all. I'm just talking. Don't hit me too hard. Dad had major surgeries recently and she's one keeping family informed. Okay, that works. I mean, and again, there are ways legally. There's things that you can do legally to give people certain rights and different things like that, right? So, I mean, to each their own. I mean, you got to go for what works for you. I have an uncle who doesn't live with his significant other 15 years. I couldn't do it. Hey, peace, love, and light to your aunt. You feel me? 15 years. Oh, 15 years. You going through that for 15 years? I'm speechless. Not making the is insane. The I can't be an obituary, bro. 15 years. Hey, Derek, you think she'll make the obituary or he'll make hers? I'm just saying. To each their own. I mean, it's just those little things. And like I said, I don't claim to be the most evolved person. I don't. I will tell you all day long, hey, listen, I still have my projections. I still have those things that I am dealing with, like my shadow self and all of that. So listen, y'all, I hope, listen, just understand, look, I'm just coming from I'm just speaking in this moment. That's just in this moment. Eddie Griffin warned us about the keep nigga baby in the 90s. We still fall for it. Listen, I don't know. I don't know. To each their own, you know what I'm saying? Like I just, at this point in my life, like I said, on all levels, whether it's with my career, whether it's with my friendships, I just want alignment. I just want to be in alignment with purpose because my goal is to live my best life, just all around. Just saying. So, all right, y'all. So let's see here. Where else am I going? Now, I know there's I got some people in the studio. Let me know if you want to get in the studio. Hit me, text me, whatever. Let me know if you want to do that. And because we do have a true false game tonight, we're gonna get into that. So let's see here. Where else do I want to go? Because we covered so much. If you want to get in the studio, nod. I mean, if you want to come live, nod and let me know. Let me know. Link one for yes. Unmute your mic if you want it. All right, so I'm gonna bring on music, man. I see you, Marley. All right, what's up, music, man? What's the science?
Hey, hey, Lise, how's it going?
Good, good, good.
How are
How are
you?
you?
Doing well, doing well. Shout out to all the special friends and the special friends out there.
All the love is out
All the lovers out there. Hello, this is your love daddy. I'm
there.
just
Oh
playing.
Lord,
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the
what's
show
up?
today.
What's up? What's up? So, how you feeling, Reese? You kind of doing the Matrix a little bit. It's kind of freezing. It's going slow a little, but so I
Okay,
just want to let you know. So
I appreciate
what
it.
are your thoughts? I know I've said a lot.
Ooh,
What are your thoughts?
you said a lot. We got to talk after the show because you definitely said a lot. But I think that there's a lot of the truth in what you said in terms of a lot of people are hiding, and I think oftentimes that people hide because they have to deal with their uncomfortable truths, and
Mm-hmm.
they have to put the mirror to their issues, the things that they didn't want to deal with, and you have to deal with those things from the root. Oftentimes we do a lot of these masking of surface level things, and the reality is that if you don't face yourself, you continue to mask, and then you put on this act, and then sometimes you forget your role.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like so, basically, you can lose yourself.
You can lose yourself,
You can lose
and,
yourself,
and you
and go ahead.
and oftentimes we lose ourselves and create this new identity when the reality is that we're really just hiding, and again, a lot of people lie to kick it because society tells us that we have to say that everything's good, and somebody who comes from the world of the church, oftentimes people ask like, how you doing, and everybody's like, oh, God is good, blessed and highly favored. And while in some facets of things can be true, oftentimes we don't want to take off the mask and really tell the story, when in
Mm-hmm.
reality, as if we tell the story, actually help people than it does to hide the story.
You know what? And that's another thing. We all have a story to tell, and I seen this quote. It said something about until you share your pain or use your pain to heal others, you can't heal or something like that, right? I do believe that our stories can help someone else. And that was part of the mission for Relationship Soup, the point of Relationship Soup, so that we can share our stories because sometimes what we go through, I don't feel like what we go through is for it, I believe it's for a reason. So
Absolutely.
and I believe that we can share these stories and we can help other people, you know.
Yeah,
But
pain slash. Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just kind of jumping on your point there. Pain and problems and situations can be ministry, because oftentimes, when you look at somebody and just look at the outer shell, or the beautiful things, and the problem with social media oftentimes is that we're good at painting mask, and oftentimes we're just wearing the mask and projecting the things that we want people to see. In reality, there's a lot of things that, if you really take back the layers, that like we're all aligned in our brokenness oftentimes. And if you share your story, you definitely help more people than put on the mask.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And and I feel too that um again, it's a case by case, situation by situation. Sometimes I feel like there are certain people that I'm not going to share that pain with.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I would like to believe that I will be led when to do that or whatever, right? So, again, it's a case by case. Like,
Yeah. And I,
I
I
do
agree.
believe that sharing it, and maybe it's healing that has to happen within self, or I don't know. I think sometimes you should be selective on who you share certain things with.
Oh, absolutely.
For
Yeah.
you,
I
for you.
yeah. And there's a level of protection with that, and by no means, sharing means that you air out your dirty laundry or tear out every detail, of the pain situations you're going through. But I do think, there's a level of transparency where you can say, hey, I have those similar experiences, because oftentimes people say, again, with that alignment, when you're aligned with people, friends, family, relationships, um, you want to have your tribe, your people who can understand your pain. It's not to divulge everything to everybody, but when you find divine connections where you feel comfortable, you have a safe space, I think it's imperative that we go through and divulge those information, because it's therapeutic for us. Because oftentimes when you hold it inside, you have this buildup, and then when you hold it inside, you build these triggers. And
Hmm.
so when people have these things built up, these unknown triggers, then people do this thing that this ex did, and this person, this family member did. You don't even know, like, well, I didn't know that was a trigger for you because I said XYZ or did this. But we need to divulge those things or say, hey, I'm going through this situation, and this is my story, because the story actually does help other people, because oftentimes we are going through similar situations, and maybe not exactly the same, but it's enough where we can help other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally
Yeah.
agree. So let's see here. Mark Lee says there's some pains and truth you will carry to you. That's true. Because
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
I think when you're led to share certain things, you'll share it with the right people at the right place at the right time. I hope that's how I will move in this life, right? I hope that I will move where if it's a pain that I went through, that I'll share it with the right people at the right place at the right time. I really do. Because I believe that's part of service. I'm real big about service and purpose, and I mean y'all know that. Let's see here. What else? What else? What else? Yeah. So I think you make some great points, Reese.
Yeah,
Let's see here. We
absolutely.
got to get to this true false. I know that Mark Lee, you trying to get on here right quick before I get to this true false? Because y'all already know it's Tuesday on a Tuesday. Y'all
On
know.
the
Okay.
Tuesday.
So I'm gonna take you off of here, Music Man. Feel free to stick
All
around.
right.
Okay. All right. All right, Mark Lee. What's up, Mark Lee? Mark Lee. Mark Lee.
Not much. Went to the eye doctor, so these are new specs that I have on today and everything. So still
I
got to
see.
get
Oh,
by
you were
the.
the new. I see you, Mark. You said you was gonna save the specs for relationships. I see you. See
I gotta say for relationships too. Just got them earlier this afternoon. The new specs, and like I said, I'll go get the trim later on and everything. Like I try to do once every couple of weeks and everything. But yeah, I had the new specs. The old specs are still laying around here somewhere. But yeah, the new specs are letting me see you right in effervescent as always. So I'm able to
thank
see you
you.
even clearer and everything like that. So glad to have these new specs and be able to bring them on to relationship soup and everything. But yeah, y'all were definitely hitting some deep subjects and definitely things like barbecue, oftentimes doing relationships that I can relate to because I've been down that path where people have used their children as manipulating forces, like I put in the chat, or that they have done other things. Because I'll never forget that one lady that would take me by the jewelry store on a regular basis, and she wasn't subtle about it at all. Because she was like, but then again, this is the same young lady that when she went and visited my parents' house, my mother's house to be exact, she was telling me that, this is the house we gonna live in. And mom was basically looking at her like, I don't remember him making any commitment to you and all along those lines to that nature and everything. But yes, she was ready to claim the house, and it's the house that mom still lives in to this day. So this was a relationship about 15, 20 years ago. But she was like, yeah, we're gonna be living in this house. And even to this day, mom teases me. She's like, what happened to that woman that wanted to have this house and everything?
So let me ask you this, Mark. So you mentioned, because talked about your comment. So
Mhm.
what ways did a woman use her children to manipulate you to stay in a relationship? Like, how did she?
Well,
What was she doing?
Like it was a couple of different ways. Sometimes it would be like playing the babysitter role because she might be out working, so she wants you to be the babysitter or the caregiver and things along those lines. And of course, the kids knew that, so sometimes the kids would, basically try to manipulate you into doing favors for them in order to win favor with their mom, or at least that's the way that they would think about it and everything like that. So that's one example that comes to mind and everything like that. Because kids are not as unbright as we think they are. They can actually be very smart in terms of relationships and everything like that. So I think that they knew that there was a situation that they could possibly manipulate the situation. And then there were some other ones that I was uncomfortable with and everything, and this was decades ago. But I remember one lady, I was dating her, but also doing some tutoring because she was getting a secondary degree and everything like that. And there might have been some, I won't say total intimacy, but we were doing some of this studying in restaurants and might end up in a hotel space with the three of us and everything like that. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, she's trying to get frisky, that you do know that that child's over there as well. So I'm going like, wait a minute, there's got to be some boundaries, but I don't know that people always are realizing that those boundaries could impact that child. Because like I said, that child is
Absolutely.
probably well into their adulthood. They're probably in their 20s now and everything. But I sometimes wonder, what did that do to their mindset and everything if they even saw us maybe just doing some heavy petting or something along those lines? How did that impact them as grown adults now and everything?
Yeah,
And I don't.
absolutely. And that's a good point, Mark Lee, because I like what you said. Kids are very intuitive because,
Mhm.
me thinking it back to even when I was a child, right? They'd be
Right.
like, oh, the kids don't know that. No, the kids do know.
Mhm.
Energetically, we do know. And I feel like children are closest to God, right? So their intuitions and things like that, especially if they're under the age of accountability,
Right.
I feel like they know. Like, and even parents be trying to play it off. They lying to kick it. They live in a lie. But kids know. And this is the thing. I have, I obviously have, I love children. Anybody that knows me knows I love children. I do, right? I don't like when people try to manipulate. So let me make that clear, right? Because I don't want it to make it like I'm insensitive, because the truth of the matter is a lot of relationships are blended. A lot of families are blended. Seldom
Mhm.
will you find where people are in a, you know what I'm saying? And again, purpose, all of that comes into play. I just don't like the manipulation piece. And that's what I'm speaking on. Like,
Right.
when I said earlier, how do you let somebody manipulate you with their you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not cool.
No,
You
it's
know what I
not
mean?
cool
Like,
at
it's
all.
I don't like manipulation. You know what I'm
No, it's
saying?
not cool.
I like truth, and I like alignment and all of that. You know what I mean? So people that, like try to manipulate situations to get somebody to control somebody, to manipulate somebody, that's not cool. And see,
No, it's
people are
not.
going to naturally love children because
Mhm.
children, they don't ask to be here. Children
Mhm.
don't have a lot of control, and they be
Mhm.
so pure and beautiful and innocent. How do you not love children? But what I don't understand is, why do some people feel like they're going to manipulate
I
people
don't get
with
it.
kids? That's not cool. Even if it's their own kids, why are you playing that role? Why are you using that child as a pawn? Why are
That's
you
what they're
doing that?
doing. They're using it as a pawn, and it's not just children. You talked about that, and as you know, because I don't hide it. As a matter of fact, I just got a new app recently called Merlin that lets you hear bird songs and all along those lines. And I do know a lot of people will also let the other innocence in a relationship be a form of manipulation as well. Because how often do you not see both guys and girls that will let their pets be part of the manipulation as well? And the
Don't
pets
be
are
trying to use Fido to manipulate me. You know I
exactly
love see that's me. I love animals and babies. And so I have
right.
to really guard my heart because I've been in a situation before where somebody really was trying and that's why I feel so strongly about it because I knew, I was done.
Yeah,
I had an affinity for this baby girl. Like that was my heart. Like people thought she
okay,
was my baby. You feel me?
right.
That's how cool we were. But at the same time, there was things that he was doing to try to manipulate me because he
Hmm.
knew how I felt about the baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's not don't be using them kids. Don't be doing that. But Mark, I'm
Don't
gonna have to
be.
take you off of here because time is winding
I
down.
know it's time,
Did you
and I
have
know you
any
gotta get some
finishing?
food. I gotta get some food as well. I'm just gonna add really quickly. Yeah, don't be
Yes.
using Fido. Don't be using little feline cat either, or any of those other things. Even the birds and the fish, because I do have, like you, an affinity for the animals. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, don't be using those animals trying to like let them if they see you cuddling up next to them and everything, saying, "Oh, don't y'all just look cute and don't y'all look wonderful together?" As if that's another form of manipulation. So we gotta stop that madness.
Absolutely, yeah. Manipulation is a real thing. So yeah, I don't agree with manipulation, and and even having the discernment to discern
Mhm.
that's not manipulation. That's discernment is not manipulation. Like discerning things is not manipulation. It's
No,
just
not at
yeah.
all.
I don't like when people do that. Again, and I speak so strongly about it because I was in that situation. You feel me?
Mhm.
Where someone was trying to manipulate me with their child. Because I mean, I love children. Those that know me, like I said, I love the kids. But don't be
Mhm.
trying to use them kids as no pawn with me. Don't do that. All right, Mark. Well, let me take you off. Feel free to stay after. We're gonna get to this true false. All right. All right. Boom. B. I see you in the studio. Do you want to come on? You don't have to. All right. All right. Cool. I just try to make sure. So I see y'all comments or whatever. We got. I'm just gonna get to a couple true falses or true false. Why do I be saying falses? I be talking too fast. Let me slow down. We got a true false game that we're going to play. I will probably only do a couple of questions. So anyway, so I hope that y'all see that or whatever. That again, it's the manipulation piece for me. Don't be trying to manipulate me with your dog and your baby because I love dogs, I love animals, and I love babies. Don't be doing that. Again, I've been in that situation. It wasn't cool. All right, so boom. So Derek says, "I hear you, Reese, but transparency has done me much harm. People assume I'm not and get on BS. Absolutely. And that's why I said, like, you have to discern when to be that. You just have to. Because everybody don't deserve access to you. Everybody don't deserve so access to you. And that's something that was a very hard lesson for me to learn. So you have to be very careful. You know, you giving people sole access that ain't even showed you emotional intelligence. How that makes sense? Make it make sense. You don't. You deserve better than that. You more worthy than that. Okay, so let me see here. Leah says, you single. And you single and mingling, Mark. Let's see here. Sup, Derek. Sup, Derek. Let's see here. Shout out to Lisa's nice face. Gosh, you a trip. You a trip. My bad. And what's a happy Tuesday? Absolutely. Let's see here. What did I miss anything? Okay, boom. All right. So let's see here. Y'all, let's get to a couple true false or whatever. Let me know if y'all got something in the chat or whatever. If you want to speak about something in the chat. Oh, and let me hit this real fast. Okay. So this is another thing, y'all. And I don't know if it was just the energy or what of this week, but I took myself out to a very nice dinner. I went to this little Brazilian steakhouse up north, right? And so, enjoyed it or whatever. I'm eating good, getting full, getting all my calories, you feel me, and some more. And while I was grateful, and it's crazy because these conversations were coming to me, so it must have been my energy drawing this stuff to me. So while I was grateful that I'm able to sit down into this beautiful restaurant, this delicious food, I couldn't help but to feel away. I'm seeing all these families, I'm seeing all these couples, they all hugged up, beat each other and everything. And I wasn't coveting. I wasn't jealous. It was just an acknowledgement. And this weekend, I was blessed enough to link up with some friends. Thank y'all for hanging with me this weekend. It was a blast. And we had conversations, everything from, you know, wanting to be, married to, you know, this single life can be a little lonely. But you know what? What came to me though? Um, Loneliness doesn't always equal lack. It doesn't. You're not lacking anything. And I feel like, at the end of the day, things for me, it boils down to the spiritual. Like loneliness is not a punishment, it's a pause. And pause is cool. It's cool. Pause is okay. It's all right. It really is all right. Right. And I like it took me a little minute to get there. Okay. And thank y'all for talking me off the ledge. You know who you are. You know what I'm saying? But it pause is really a blessing. It really is. And sometimes, I mean, it's okay to see things and acknowledge. But come back to your center. All right, so let's see here. I love Brazil. Oh my gosh, I got so cool. I'm telling you. All right, y'all. So let's look at a couple true false. Let's see here. Okay, let's look at this one, y'all. All right, so I'm going to put this in the chat and I will bring it on. My computer's moving a little slow, so I will try to. Okay, boom. All right, expressing desires invites alignment. Control begins when you force another person to meet them. Is that true, false? Is that true or false? Expressing desires invites alignment. Control begins when you force another to meet them. What y'all think? True or false? False. Some people say false. Okay, so tonality says false. All right. Mark Lee says false. Some people be having internet honeys, but they might be. When couples thriving, it be feeling a non-jealous way. I be wanting that too, but it's not time yet, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. You do be wanting those things, right? You be like, oh my goodness, this. But again, I believe there's a divine timing. I believe in divine timing, and I believe that's what's yours by divine right will happen for you. I do. I just pray that if I'm being nudged or whatever, that I move accordingly so I can have that. All right, y'all. So what's the answer? The answer is false. So it's false, y'all. It's false, false, false. All right, y'all. Let's do another true false. Let's see here. Where else do I really want to go? Okay, here we go. Look at this one, y'all. Look at this one. Tell me what y'all think about this. There it ain't true. It was false. It was false. All right, so again, my Verizon moving a little slow. Let me go ahead and bring this one on. You should always confront when something bothers you. True or false? You should always confront when something bothers you. Y'all ever been bothered? And like, oh, I gotta go say it right now. Your heart racing. You feel me? Like, nah, Your breathing is fast and short. You should always confront something. You should always confront when something bothers you. What y'all think? Mark Lee says false. Tonality says false. What y'all think? What y'all think? All right. So the answer is false. And I'm going to bring this on. Okay, then I'm going to get out of here, y'all, because we are running short on time. Okay, sometimes the best confrontation is prayer. God can reach hearts you can't. Absolutely. And you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right, Daniel. It does depend, right? Again, sometimes, and this is what I am learning, okay, when to say something, finding the timing, the right time in the right place, and when to, because sometimes you just gotta, right? You have to. But when, right? I'm just gonna trust that the creator gonna show me. Right. All right. All right, y'all. So look, y'all know what time it is, right? I'm surprised y'all ain't hurt my stomach growling. I appreciate all of y'all for joining me tonight. You know I don't take it for granted, right? Man, tonight's show was amazing. So I hope that some seeds was planted, and even if it causes you to look at you, even if it causes you to look at yourself and have gratitude, that's a beautiful thing, right? I just feel like part of life is service and growth. We're here to grow. We're here to learn. We're here to teach and all of that, right? So hopefully this causes you to look at self, maybe even your situation, and grow from it and move accordingly, right? And some of you may not be in a situation, right? I can't lie to kick it like I ain't never been in an counterfeit position because I have. I just pray that I'm not now. You feel me? Like in no aspects. And if I am, whether it's whatever it is, that I move accordingly. So that's just that. So anyway, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the studio. I see you, Music Man, B Jones, Mark Lee. I appreciate y'all so much, Leah. I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Daniel, everybody tonight, Derek Norris, every summer, everybody that tuned in tonight, y'all know I appreciate you. I don't take you for granted. And I love you all so much. Special shout out to my mama. She was like, "You going live Tuesday, ain't you? You gonna go live Tuesday?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go live." Right? So, mommy, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you and I love you. Lyric, thank you so much for everything that you do, even behind the scenes. The Grishams, my newly found relatives, can't wait to see y'all this summer. Can't wait to see y'all. Aunt Anna and my viewers, I love y'all so much. And I hope that this, like I said, that this episode resonated with you. Please feel free to share it with someone. And please, y'all, don't forget, follow Relationship Soup Podcast. Y'all already know on Facebook, it's Relationship Soup Group. If you want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC. And of course, on YouTube, it's Relationship Soup, period. Y'all know what I'm going to say. You got to put the period. All right. And again, for greeting cards, for your greeting card needs, feel free to hit up Relationship Soup. Let me see here. Great show. I feel attacked, though. You feel attacked? Listen, I said a prayer before this episode. Like, I didn't really have a direction with it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I literally was just, I said a little prayer. I got spiritual with it. I was like soul talk. Let's see here. Lisa, this was more than a show. It was a whole soul session. Ooh, I'm glad Coach Jane popping up with the rainbows and butterflies, the reading rainbow. Your voice, your wisdom, your transparency, all of it hit deep. Thank you for creating a space where we don't just listen, we grow. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Mr. Artest. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Right now it's 114. Let's get to 150. Yeah, let's get to 150. Y'all, again, if this resonated with you or whatever, just share it with your friends, share the episodes. I really appreciate you all. Beautiful session. We learned, absolutely, we learned together. We got to. We have to. But we ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to do nothing but die and pay taxes, right? Well, I guess that's guaranteed. Anyway, y'all, remember, your heart is not a rehab center. It's a temple. Treat it like one, right? Even when you're unsure, even when you are uncertain and all that other stuff that just comes with it, hey, you got to love yourself. That's what it's about. You must love yourself. So I think that's it. Hopefully I got all y'all comments. If not, I love y'all and join me the next time and I'll be sure to bring them on, Lord willing. But other than that, love yourself and I will see y'all soon. And until next time, peace.